All right, so last time on Curse of Strahd, what happened? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. No, so you all went to the Burgomeister's mansion in the town of Vallaki, and there you performed for him and his elite friends. He explained to you the premise and why all is well is so important, that we continue to create a friendly and welcoming atmosphere in Vallaki to help what he believes and honestly believes will free you from him in the town, from the stranglehold that Strahd has placed on the land. After the performance, you were well compensated, but he also asked that you complete another task, a slightly more underhanded one, where he needed you to investigate the Vokters. Believing them to be allied with Strahd and working against his mantra in the town, he asked that you use your particularly subversive set of skills to infiltrate the Vokter house and discover any clues or keys that would help him press charges against them and finally rid himself of this nuisance. Meeting back at the Blue Water Inn, you all decompressed a bit, counted your earnings from that evening's wild performance that all of you took part in. And Cole, the floor is yours.
We were stepping out the door, I think, to go to sleep. I think that's what we were.
We were getting ready to go to I think we were getting ready to go to bed.
Right.
I think you left off on.
Morning.
Here's what you need to know about me.
With so little context, I can't even remember what that was going to be. So I just look at Tenzin. Here's one thing you gotta know about me. Not entirely concerned about safety. My own. Yeah. I've been on the road a long time, and yeah. You see some sort of horrible things. You know what? It's like it's too much for tonight. Ask me some other time, okay?
Sure thing, brave Sir Cole Mavvin.
Go around the corner, back up the stairs, and settle in.
Okay, so it means you're rooming with me, Ash. The other two probably.
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
Thank you.
Whatever. Don't snore.
I don't sleep.
Oh, this is gonna be weird.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you all settle in for the evening, is there anything anyone or in particular is looking to do before we end the night?
I did want to actually talk to Ash once we got into the room alone. So, on the way up to the room, Tins keeps that heat, closes the door behind him and locks it. He turns around at the door and he just stops and says, what all exactly can you do with that gray skin of yours?
What are you talking about?
Sought in the market.
I think I'm slightly confused. What gray skin? Who did you see?
There was a moment whenever you were doing your funny voice trick, and your hand went a little gray. I'd just like to know, so that way I can potentially be prepared for the future. I have no room to judge my skin changes color based on my mood. I'm a fucking mood ring, so.
And I don't like to have moods. I think you might be seeing something. you get in one of your little moods, start seeing things and trying to inquisit things that might not be there.
My eyes don't lie, bud.
Your eyes are the least reliable sense.
Usually.
I tell you what, you see it again, you let me know. Maybe I got some weird
Don't make
Barovian
me stare at you,
disease.
bud. Don't make me stare at you.
You stare at me all the time the way it is.
That's not true. Sometimes I stare at Durango.
Listen, whenever it becomes a problem, I'll let you know. I suggest you drop it.
Probably not. Get some rest.
And Ash will sit sleeping up in the bed that night.
Okay. Cole or Durango?
Durango's wiped. He's just having a snooze.
It's been a fairly eventful night, so I think just crashing.
So as you all settle in for another interesting evening, sleep finds you quickly. Your thoughts and dreams filled with dark woods, ravens, wolves in the night. At this point, a familiar feeling as these nightmares continue to take you. For those of you that do sleep. The next morning comes, as many have in the land of Barovia, a gray sky, overcast, drizzly, as you once again find yourselves at the Blue Water Inn.
Ash gets up and, without saying a word, just leaves the room. It's downstairs.
Okay. It is early, Ash, as you walk into the tap room of the Blue Water Inn. The familiar scene now of the owner in the back cooking, the Danica, the bartender slash co-owner, feeding breakfast to the children as she is also going about the morning duties to get the bar prepared for the evening and for lunch and breakfast. You bump into that large man again, cursing and swearing as he's making his way out. Danica offers a shout. Hi, Pluto, you'll get him. You'll get him today. I don't understand. She'll be fucking working. She should be fucking working. It just doesn't make sense. And he just continues to stumble out, still half drunk already at sunrise.
I flag him down.
What should be working?
None of your fucking business.
All right. Fuck you too.
Push him out the door. Go up to the Danica.
Got any strength things stronger than ale?
I've got a. We're running short on the wine, of course, as we mentioned, but I've got a bit of grain alcohol I could give you.
Yeah, give me one of those, please.
She pours it in a small glass, tosses it to you.
I slam it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is abrasive and strong and it's not much for flavor.
I don't need it for the flavor.
It didn't seem like it. Is everything all right? Did you have a good night?
Didn't sleep great. Just taking the edge off.
Yeah, you get used to it.
But you don't sleep well either?
Nobody sleeps well in Barovia.
Good to know.
And then
I'll just take some water. Can't be
Help
too
yourself.
much out. Thank you.
just go sit down at the table and be with my thoughts.
Okay. The rest of you?
I think Rango and Cole probably coming out of the room a bit after, taking the time to groom ourselves, and we're going to be performing, and now that we're known, we've got to look the part, so hair combed, and brushed and cleaned off as best we can, and I stopped measuring myself and thinking about getting me a new coat, and maybe one that's not all torn on the edges.
Yeah, even at this early hour, Durango, like, immaculately groomed. He's got his lute in his hands, and he's picking something out, like he's trying to conjure something from memory, and he's just kind of having trouble with it. And just kind of sits there at the table and doesn't have a lot to say to anybody. He's very wrapped up in just trying to work out this tune that just won't quite come.
Tenzel very much just watch Ash get up and leave. He tranced while he was asleep and made sure the last 2 hours were just watching him as he slept to see if the skin showed. But he would let Ash leave, have a few minutes of space, wait until he hears the other two stirring around before following, purposefully being last at the table.
And as you all gather around, Danica serves you a modest breakfast.
Tins is going to stop her and just say, "Hey, I've been meaning to ask, you know what's been happening to your wine?"
No, we were supposed to get the delivery, but it hasn't arrived.
Who do you normally get it through?
There's a vineyard a little ways west out of town.
Need someone to look into it.
I mean, I believe we already asked you once, but yeah, I mean,
it's been a day.
yeah. Of course, at your if you find you got nothing better to do, it's a little odd. We haven't got a delivery yet, and we're starting to get a bit nervous.
Well, I'm a little busy today, but he looks at the others. Maybe tomorrow.
Well, it depends. Like, what we've got a few days. How many days we got before the festival?
Muted.
Festival should be tomorrow.
So we only really got today if we're gonna.
So
I'm not missing our performance.
I guess the question is then, would it be who of us to help them get their wine today, and maybe speak with this Wagner tonight?
Sounds like a plan to me.
You're going to speak with Lady Voctor.
Probably not. I don't know.
Mr. Tens, do not be so bashful about this. Our presence has been requested after our magnificent performance last night.
There's a lot that's been requested of us since we got into fucking town.
Well, you've got to understand, you are the most interesting things that have walked in quite some time. Since some age, at least.
Does a man not like coin? Just start jingling the coin pouch at my side. We made a bet last night, mate. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I
They're
remember.
willing to pay. We're gonna do the work.
Sure. Say, we figure out what's going on with your wine. Give us a couple nights free.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk about it. It depends. I mean, if it's nothing, you know what? Make a persuasion check.
First roll of the new year.
Hey.
Is a tasty 18.
She sort of looks at the four of you. Her eyes soften a bit. And yeah, I think we can work something out.
Okay. How far out is this winery?
I haven't been in a while. You take it by foot or horse?
He looks at the others.
Ain't got no horses.
Got a place where we can buy some horses.
Horses are fairly tough to come by if you don't already have them.
Fucking figures.
You could see. Yeah, I don't know, maybe 2 days.
Jesus. Whatever that is.
I ain't got time
Day and
for
a
that,
half
mate.
day and a half if you make good pace.
Well, it ain't happening today. Probably won't happen tomorrow. So, where's this mage at? Nope. Mm-mm.
Well, hold on.
Mage?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Depends on who you ask.
Before you start spewing about, just signing us up for shit, what we got to... Calm yourself. What we got to do?
The only thing we've got to do that I'm aware of is go talk to this bitch and get ready for this
Spice
thing.
on this one today.
Mr. Tens, surely you will lose this vocabulary of yours before we make our appearance tonight.
This appearance tonight was brought on by... God, I fucking hate it. I wish I could talk openly here, but I don't know who the fuck is ever fucking listening.
I think he's lost it.
You got any
Perhaps you
dream
should try
cakes
sleeping
yet?
again, Mr. Tens. I think that staying awake is not agreeing with you.
With my rest. There's no worry about my resting. It comes with the heat.
So that... Anyway, the only two things we got to do is the festival and well, look into this lot. Tens, didn't you say something about the windmill?
Yes, I did, but that's more of a curiosity than a requirement. I don't know that actually affects you. I haven't seen the fucking bitch around town with her cart at night. Here.
I'd like to talk to the wizard across the lake because I don't know if I can deal much more with the Spice Lord here. I think it's time for me to go home. Maybe you can help.
You know what? Fine. Fuck you all. And he gets up and he walks away from the table.
The jaw just slacked. Like,
You said you liked this one.
mate, I kind of do. I can't decide.
Durango looks over at Ash, and kind of while Cole is distracted with the performance that Tens is putting on. This one, his moods are so volatile. They almost shift before your eyes, no?
Ash locks onto you. Doesn't blink. Does not blink, does not move, does not twitch. And just waits for whatever you do next.
Durango just smiles like he's made an innocuous comment and, continues to pick at his lute, trying to make this tune come to life. Well, these nightmares, they are disconcerting, but they do inspire, no? You can almost hear the music that suits them. And he's trying to pick out like the spooky tune that he heard in his dreams the night before.
Yeah. Sure.
Inspiration comes from strange places, Mr. Ash. It is a wise man who learns to make a blessing of a curse, no?
I don't believe much in blessings. Just sometimes you can redirect a curse.
Durango just shrugs and goes back to his lute.
Yeah, and as you say that, that lithe figure, that elven figure, begins to make its way down the stairs. His outfit and regalia just as pronounced and colorful as ever, as he saddles up to the bar and begins to eat breakfast along with the rest of you.
Tins is going to notice him and very unintentionally aggressively stomp his way across the floor to him and like sit next to him with a bit of a plop.
Oh, here we go.
Well, good morning there. I trust your...
Definitely fucking morning, isn't it?
Yes, I trust your evening at the or your performance or your dinner went well. Yes.
Oh, it went fantastic.
Oh, excellent.
Say, you gonna be in your wagon today?
Well, I have to do a bit of preparation for the festival tomorrow, but unfortunately,
Of course.
yes, unfortunately, we have been locked down until the events transpire. So unfortunately, there is nothing much to do other than prepare, and I mean, that is it, really. It's rather boring day for me.
So, was that a no, not going to be in my wagon at all today?
Well, again, I have to go and do a bit of prep work, but if you're looking for the show, then unfortunately you'll have to wait for...
No, I'm looking for more of a private conversation.
Well, I am certain anything you can say to me, you could say in front of our dear Danica, perhaps your friends. I mean, Twitter...
At about this time, Cole gets up from the table, and I just kind of put my hand on his shoulder, and
It's very warm.
you'll have to forgive my friend here. He's a bit hot-headed today, it seems.
Yeah, I don't believe I've met another... you're an elf, yes? You have all the obviously telltale signs, but I've never met one quite as enigmatic as yourself, and so variable.
I don't know what you mean by that, and it felt almost like it was supposed to be a slight, but I'm gonna let it go.
No, I assure you it was not it's not intended to upset you. I'm just being forthright.
Well, his emotions seem to be a bit all over the place. He seemed to change.
Where'd you grow up? Did you grow up here? Did you grow up at Faye?
I did grow up here.
That might explain it then.
There are elves about. You just don't see them often.
Tell you what. like to talk to you more about your experience in setting up tents. That's all.
I see. Well, I haven't quite had the space to do a larger carnival. There's quite a bit that goes into that, surveying and whatnot. And he sort of side eyes Danica as he looks at you. But if that's the conversation you wish to have, I don't see why we can't have it here.
Well, I suppose more of what I'm looking for is the size of tents that you've put up, the number of stakes you've driven.
Oh, I've driven many stakes in my day.
Sure.
Yes, yes, of course,
definitely,
yes.
without a doubt.
There's no shortage of opportunity here in Barovia.
Did you do it outside of Barovia, or did you become an expert in it here?
Well, little bit of column A, little bit of column B, we'll say. But I found myself quite at home here in my services required, obviously. As a carnival master, of course.
Right, yeah.
As a bard.
Mm-hmm.
No shortage of merrymaking required, I guess you would say. Entertainment needing to be provided.
Durango punctuates his statement with a riff, like as he's speaking, just like in the gaps in his words.
Right. Well, let Chuck look at something real quick.
Ashley's over to Durango.
I think he might be somebody's nightmare tonight. I just hope it ain't ours.
I have to ask, have you got any special tools that you use in your staking?
I mean, all sorts of contraptions you could use, but nothing beats a hammer and a stake for that sort of thing, yes?
Nothing specialized?
I don't see that there's much need for it.
I figured a man of your worth would have some sort of magical instrument to just go about smacking stakes without having to do much about it.
No, it's just always best to, work in the daylight, and that's really it.
Fair enough. All right. Well,
but I feel, and that this line of questioning is a little obtuse, is it not?
only a little.
But you seem to have figured it out yourselves, so why bother?
I bother because where I'm from, stories and fortune telling are very potent. Before we wound up here, there was talk about a wagon. Not quite a wagon, more of a cage that holds an implement of sorts. I haven't seen very many cages that are wagon-like, or wagons that are cages. Assuming that you are a carnival, I would assume that you would have a cage wagon of sorts for your various different potential entertaining pieces, beasts and such. It's just an assumption, which, of course, I'm allowed to be an ass in this season, so if I'm making an ass out of myself, you just have to let me know.
You're being an ass.
Fuck you.
You're being an ass.
Fuck you too.
You're not helping your own case there, mate.
So, if you'll forgive me, you believe that perhaps a wagon or cage houses some sort of implement that will help you do what exactly?
That's a good question. I don't actually know.
Well, what is it you are here to do, young man?
Oh, I was just here for the stories. Unfortunately, those stories have gotten a bit more real
Well,
than expected.
here's the thing. I'm sorry to butt in here, but you've been putting so much stock in these cards that Vistani woman put out there. Why? Why?
The last card that was drawn. That's why.
What do you mean?
The marionette. Your search will end in a place of great heights, the beating heart of a castle, and he waits nearby. I haven't personally seen him, but apparently a couple of you have.
So what you're saying is the Vistani have sent you?
At the end of the day,
No, what? We came upon a traveling band of Vistani that led us here. We got a reading, and what Tens neglects to know, and maybe you can back me up on this, is it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. You can take any one of those cards, say anything about them, see the prophecy, and make money off of it. We were in that hustle.
you act like I don't fucking know this. Do you know where I'm from? No. I actually, the day we went in there, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I said something about, hey, you seem a little haggish, huh?
Mike, you're the only ones on about this.
I know. I'm aware.
Mr. Tens, for a small sum of that gold you earned last night, I would happily pull cards from a stack and tell you what they mean.
Fuck the both of you. You said this was nice? Really showing some color today, huh? Ain't the only one with red on my skin.
Well, gentlemen, and you can see Danica slides a bunch of steaks over to him, which he wraps up in this, that are wrapped up in this sort of thick paper, and he drops some coin on the counter for him. And you're more than welcome to come and speak with me at my caravan, if you will. Of course, it is up to you, but I don't know if I can be of service to you. All I can tell you is that the Vistani are typically liars and thieves. And I would avoid any beating hearts in castles. But, well, it's another tale. Anyways, I must be off.
Yeah. We'll talk later. Have a good day.
He takes the package and smiles and bows to all of you as he exits.
Durango plays him out the door.
I love how Durango's just unfazed by all of this right now.
He just doesn't care. It's great.
So
What?
what you want to do, Tens? You want to go over to his caravan there? Is that it? I mean, we got nothing else to do.
Oh, we got plenty to do.
Well,
got
that's a
plenty to
noble
do.
one. Well, we can't go get the wine now, can we? That's 2 days
No,
away.
we can't. We can go talk to the guy who keeps getting kicked out of here that's going to fishing. We can go find this mage that we've been talking about. We can go down to the windmill if we really want to. Or we can go find and see if there's this weapon of vengeance and sunlight. which apparently, if you fight in the day, according to him, is a pretty fucking important piece of to note.
Well, okay, because they can't step out in the day night now, can they? We already know
No,
this.
they can't. But if it's a weapon made of fucking sunlight, carry that shit around.
You ain't got no season that's just normal. Just like even keeled.
Closest thing to even keeled is the one that you fucking hate.
Sir Cole, perhaps if we did go to speak with this man, we could survey where this festival would be held, see where we would be performing, and plan accordingly.
Actually, I was thinking about that one too. You could talk to him about maybe collaborating with the guy. I mean, we're not exactly going to be sitting on the stage the entire time that we're, storytelling and dancing and singing and doing voices and whatever.
The door swings open again to the inn. The familiar face of Ismark walks in with a smile. He grabs a bit of bacon off one of the plates that was left at the table. Well, that seemed to have gone well last night, yes? So
It did, my friend, it did.
yes. Well, where to today then?
I think we're checking out the fairgrounds.
Just point me in the direction, and I am all yours.
Yeah.
All right, well, here tends better.
Whatever makes everybody fucking happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Was it not your idea to begin with, to go this way?
You know, at this point, I don't fucking know. So.
What cycle of the moon is it? We got that
Yeah.
time?
Wow. Okay. So last night we were seasonist, and now we're being sexist. All right. I'm not even female, and that's offensive.
Oh, sorry.
Well, this is awkward. I'm
sorry.
gonna go.
I bet it's gonna be gray no matter what, huh? He
Uh,
gets up and he just starts stomping his way out of the inn.
To the wagon, I guess. I've lost all control of whatever the hell we're trying to do today, so follow the fiery whatever he is.
Okay. So you all step out into that brisk morning air of Vallaki, the familiar smells of the city, that sort of damp, gray mist, heavy, seems to rolling over the walls of the city itself. The mountains just peeking up beyond it in the distance. The muddy, puddle-stained streets squish beneath your feet as you walk through to the town square. You see more of those criminals in stockades. Someone walks by and throws a bit of old fruit at them. They laugh and they walk past.
Ooh, does it tend to stop? No, he does not.
As you keep walking, you continue to make your way back towards that eastern gate where you'd first entered, to that large stockyard. The stockyard itself, essentially just several locked sheds along the periphery. All lie adjacent to a roomy warehouse. A wooden sign above the front gate reads the RSX Stockyard. Parked at the south end is a sturdy carnival wagon. Colorful paint peeling off and faded lettering, on the side, spelling out the words Rictavio's Carnival of Wonders. Rictavio stands beside the carnival, apparently doing a bit of repair work on a wheel right next to the wagon. Wipes a bit of mud off of his hands as he stands up and looks at all of you as you approach. Well, earlier than expected, but here you are nonetheless. So, this is it. Not much to look at, I guess, in this light, but not much I can do with it at the moment.
Why not just leave?
Well, my presence has been requested for, of course, the festivals and my talents, although I don't know if they'll be as required with all of you here. But, there's always coin to be made, there's stories to be told, is there not? And he nods to Durango.
Yeah, the stage is a great place. There is room for many.
Yes, of course. And these festivals, of course, they get a bit tiresome after a while. He looks around side-eyed as he says that. And, yeah, it's always best to have a bit of variety.
Yeah. I suppose. So what's the plan when you get done here? At some point you're going to want to move on. Take your carnival somewhere else.
Yes, I'm sure, but, what better place to have a carnival than a town that has so much to offer someone of my trade, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
Perhaps you could show us where the performances take place. Miss Cole and I were rather curious to see.
Oh, they are typically in the town square is where you'll be. The festival will be held, and that's where the performances are typically held. Surely you've walked past it. I imagine that this is not why your fiery friend here came to speak with me, but I am more curious about all of you. I am maybe it is in our nature to secure tales and stories to tell, but what brings all of you to Vallaki? And what is it you are looking for?
I told y'all, I'm here looking for somebody. I was hired to find somebody. Just trying to do that. Figure bumbling around with you lots, best way to do it. And yeah, definitely shake a few things loose.
Ash, you notice as you say that the Rictavio's eyes sort of drift downwards just a little bit before. Yeah. Well, there's no shortage of missing persons in this area. Actually, most recently, I've heard that there's a young lady has gone missing from the Vistani.
Anybody else? Anybody else from out of town? Was in town, is now missing?
No one recently, but none that I'm aware of, but people go missing here all the time.
How about any refugees, transplants from other towns? Do they have a spot around here anywhere?
No, not typically. It is rare we get outsiders.
Folks like ourselves, yes.
us, yeah.
While this conversation's going on, I'm just, just sort of checking out the card itself and the fairgrounds, and I'm gonna put my nose to the air. I'm gonna light up a divine sense.
Make an investigation check. Or I guess you're not really investigating, or perception. We'll say perception.
That's a 16, and then with burning divine sense, I get any strong feeling of undead or fey, or what's the exact thing?
Just the obvious. Tensveta.
Mm-hmm. Celestial
Durango.
fiend or undead.
Yeah, no fey, right? Yeah, celestial fiend or undead. So not Tensveta. Durango. Yeah. The only other thing you make out is one of the, you see the sides of the wagon. While some of the paint seems to be chipped and it is painted very brightly in reds and yellows, there is a very distinct metallic splatter that you recognize as dried blood. And an inscription on the door that's kind of faded on the frame that reads, "I bring you from shadow into light."
Okay. Okay. After I make my rounds, make my way back to the group, and so where's the actual performance happening? Was a stage around here, or?
I imagine they'll be set up probably today or this evening in the town square. Again, they don't happen here.
Right. Listen, you typically work as an individual, or do you contract with other groups?
Much like yourselves, I'm a bit of a one-man show.
So
What
we
exactly
were.
does your what exactly does that show entail typically?
Well, I imagine not unlike your friend here. It is more performance than anything else, minor illusions and sleight of hand sort of thing, just general entertainment, storytelling mostly.
Durango looks offended at the use of the word minor.
Mm.
Like his brows furrow for a moment, but he regains his composure.
It doesn't take much to entertain these folks.
I'm looking over to Tens. Did you get what you need?
No.
Satisfied?
No, by no means am I satisfied.
I'm still interested in your what the rest of you intend to do with your time here.
Well, I figure me and Rango are gonna do what we always do. We just sort of drift around and exorcise demons from jacks and ghosts and all sorts of things that go bumper creep in the night.
You have, of course, heard the tales of Sir Colbaven the Brave.
I have not, and I'm very intrigued.
So tired of hearing the fucking title.
Well, perhaps they should be best told through song on a stage.
Oh, Rango, we could go through the epic.
It has been a while since we did that bit, no? Perhaps it's a good time to dust off.
I think it is.
He like nudges, he like elbows Ash. Hey, we finally get to hear why he's called Brave.
Cut the guy some slack. It's what they do.
Oh, like everybody cuts me slack because I'm. Anyway, doesn't fucking matter.
The fact you ain't got a mace in your head yet says I cut you plenty of slack, alright? Plenty.
He's
Go
got
on
one.
then.
And much like yourself, we have found this land to be a fertile place to conduct our business. These people are in dire need of our trade.
And I'm sorry. That business is entertainment or exercising demons, a bit of both. Or again,
is
setting
correct.
up carnival tents.
Well, sometimes, you know, you do what needs to be done. Some days you'll perform in front of an audience, and some days, you know, a couple tents need to go up. We aren't picky.
As Cole's saying this, Durango does his best to look heroic and dashing. His cape starts to like flutter a little bit behind him in the wind. That's not
And-
really there.
How are you gonna, have stories to tell about your epics if I ain't got no epics? Savvy?
I think that
In
might be one
that
of the more
case-
intelligent things I've heard you say. I think he's rubbing off on me.
Won't be the first
And-
time,
and-
mate.
Well, what of your dealings with the Burgermeister? Are you
You were there. That's about it.
Well, it seems, he wants us under his employ, in a sort, but, actually, you might not be the worst person to ask. Who's this bro that wants us to, talk to her? It's some regal, I forget her name.
Wagner?
Wagner.
Wagner?
You muted, dude.
Something.
Vacta? Yes,
Vacta.
Fiona Vacta and her two sons. To be frank, I don't know much about them. The lady keeps to herself and keeps very close company. I know that when I arrived, she had one of her servants took a bit of an interest in me, but I was not interested in obliging the lady. So unfortunately, I would tell you that I know little about her dealings, outside of the fact that apparently there are whispers, and she is open about her service to, I guess, the Count, is the rumor. Or the Lord Strahd, whatever he is.
You said her servant took an interest in you. What does that mean?
Yes, the young man, I believe he took an interest in you as well. He tends to, she tends to keep an eye on newcomers, if you will. That is at least the explanation I received.
Oh, good. So good.
Well, it seems the mayor don't trust her, the Burgermeister.
Do you think it's actual loyalty to this fuckface, or do you think it's all, as this one put it, smoke and mirrors?
Well, I don't know quite how to answer that. One, because of the terminology may be lost on me, but let me ask you, how long have you been in Barovia yourselves?
Fuck, what, like a week, 2 weeks?
A week,
Actually, no.
maybe?
Time
And what
is
are
fucking
your
here.
opinions of the lord of this land?
The guy could fuck off, if you ask me.
You ain't even met him.
Doesn't matter.
I don't prefer his company, but You might have pissed off the Lord.
So
when I
you've
don't
met
need
with
to.
you've met with the man.
Only on the briefest of occasions. He, like many of the nobility, presented himself as perhaps a bit, what is the word?
Pretentious.
Eccentric?
That works too.
Well, Mr. Ash, you are simply not used to dealing with this strata of people, evidently. The upper crust.
Wow, and he says I'm being an asshole.
Listen,
He's-
there's nothing upper crust about nobility. Just because they have the money, they got the power. Generally speaking,
I think
they
that's
they
the
can do what they
definition
want.
of upper crust, ain't it?
Yeah, well, the lower
I-
crust is what burns hot, gives the new crust. Or so I read in like a book about like the earth or something.
I know nothing about that.
I was gonna say I think upper crust, when it comes to cooking, has to do with like the one that's on top.
Okay, I'm losing my metaphors here.
Well, I guess if that is all you're aware of, then I don't know that I can be of much help.
How about I put it to you this way? That staking that we did yesterday, we talked about at length, ad nauseum.
Yes.
It was apparently nobility placing them there. I'm not a fan of the guy because if he's the one that's the lord of this land, right? He's the one that takes care of all of his people. If she's also a noble, but the Burgermeister doesn't like her, and the Burgermeister doesn't like him, then, trickle down to the point where we have him fucking with normal everyday people like a coffin maker and stealing bones from a church that's supposed to be a space that protects people from him. There's a lot there that doesn't mix well for me, and it kind of stokes me up a little bit, makes me kind of angry.
Yes, there are quite a bit of questions. Yes. So
I don't have questions anymore.
I guess my question for you is then, who do you believe Strahd von Zervich to be? Is he the devil that the town folk make him out to be, or is this just a coincidence and the land itself cursed altogether differently? Right? It is a bit of a puzzle with this world, isn't it? I mean, you say you claim to have met him in person, yet you've walked out and survived. Do you think? So, is he truly a devil, or is he simply another lord?
Or is he just another hag in the woods that likes to give out prophecies and, curse people along the way and then send them out back into the woods just to be killed by some fucking... Doesn't fucking matter. You can let people play with
You
it.
lost me at the hag.
Yeah,
but...
he does that. In my experience, it's all the same, isn't it? Lords, whether or not they know it, are always fucking over somebody. They got the money, they got the power, they live in cushy, and they have no experience of the people down here. So it doesn't matter if he's a vampire, or if he's a everyday whatever. Don't matter. All the same.
So are you just here to, so you're just here to fuck over the hierarchy? Is that just what you do wherever you go? You just fuck the people at the top, the upper crust?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm here to make money, mate.
So if that's the case, then yes.
They got a lot of it. I'd like a lot of it. You do work for them. You perform for them. You dance for them. And kill for them.
Does that mean that if you want to make all that money, does that mean that you want to be the one that fucks other people off?
I don't...
Fucks people over?
Oh, not actively, no. But, listen, mate.
You just told me a couple minutes ago, back in the inn, that for a couple gold, he'd read some cards for me. I don't think he has that kind of skill. He blows up goblin brains and plays the guitar really well. Whatever the fuck it is.
That's what he was saying, mate. Ain't no one got that skill.
That's where you're wrong.
I once heard a song about a man who found the future in the guts of chicken.
Probably.
Well, put it this way, mate. Until you drastically alter me worldview, I'm going to take care of myself, and that's it.
Understood.
Well, I don't mean to speak out of place here, Mr. Mavvin, but I think you sell yourself short. You did not need to help us in the fashion that you did, and still you did. I believe you to be braver than even perhaps your the great Durango's stories tell. But I guess that is your truth to tell.
Mate, I'm not about to watch someone actively put other people in danger neither.
Well, I must insist that Strahd von Zarevich is no man. He's a monster that feeds and torments these people. All of this, everything you see here, all this pain and suffering is directly at his whim.
Finally, there's no frills about the conversation.
Again, he will do whatever it takes to get to Arena.
I'm sorry? Repeat that sentence just one more time for me.
He will do whatever it takes to get to my sister. We have seen this, yes. We have seen it. We have seen everything he's done. We have seen the assaults on my home, the death of my father.
Sorry. I got a little mixed up there.
This plot to weaken the church, all of it, simply to get his hands on my sister. If ever I am given the opportunity, I will fuck over this nobility, I guess. But it sounds like one of you has a bit of conviction. As for the rest, I'm sorry that I could not provide whatever the answer to your Vistani foretelling was, but
I guess storyteller to storyteller. Would you mind if I just looked through your wagon at all?
I mean, I would. And I wouldn't recommend it.
I'll tell you what. 40 gold?
As he says that, the wagon suddenly lurches as though something massive has been thrown itself against the inside wall. You hear wood crack and metal scrape and the snarl of something inhuman. Does it sound like you'd like to go check out the interior?
Oh, absolutely now.
I think I'm back on track with him. What the hell's in there?
About fucking time.
It's a part of the show. It is a tiger.
I don't know that I believe that one. Did it sound anything like a tiger?
Have you ever heard a tiger? Would Tens be familiar with what a saber-toothed tiger sounds like?
That's a good question.
Well, let's make a perception check.
Ash would not.
Can't make it an insight to see if he's lying. Ooh, hey, I'll take that 24 though.
Yeah, so you've seen other large feline animals, and he brings you up and helps you up to the top of the wagon, where he opens a small square door at the top. And looking down, you can see this massive cat form all muscle and stripes, as these huge fangs grip down as it is playing with several of the stakes that he dropped down that he received from the inn. Oh, there you have it. A wonder, is it not? Yes.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Mm.
Why is it playing with stakes?
Well, it is in its nature to hunt. It is not typically a docile creature, although it is fairly well trained at this point, but it is still a vicious animal.
Does it hunt trees?
No, stakes, as in
as
meat.
in meat.
It's meat,
Okay.
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
He's a toothpick, man. Those are some big teeth.
That's what I was saying.
You got their metaphors confused now.
I bet he's real good at putting together tents.
I haven't quite trained him on that part yet. No.
Can't get him to just like bat it with its paw.
I'm sure I could.
Put the stakes on the stakes.
They are very intelligent, but they do have a will of their own.
Well, that about answers all of my questions, I think. Apologies.
Again, sorry I could not be more helpful to you, but it appears that, like I said, if you are here looking for stories and in search of coin, then you've come to the right place. It is not a wealthy kingdom by any means, but it is, there's always opportunity for entertainers, particularly in a town such as Vallaki.
Well,
Satisfied sounds better. Now,
satisfied as I'm gonna get.
Ash is gonna look at Ismark.
If I want to leave this land, I want to leave Barovia, gonna have to go through Strahd, aren't I?
Rictavio also sort of stares as you ask that question. I wish I had a better answer for you, but this land is cursed, and I am afraid that you are all cursed with it. I've never seen anyone leave, or at least anyone that has never returned to tell of their coming and going. The only people that seem to be able to come and go as they please are the Vistani.
Yeah.
is this information that we heard before?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I know it doesn't seem that you're taking it seriously, and I hate to be the one to offer more folk tales, but of course the choice is yours. You can try to venture forth if you'd like, but all end up either lost or here in one of our two towns.
Wait, this is one of two towns? That's it?
This is the valley, unfortunately.
guess we need to
Durango
find
clicks
that
his tongue
mage. That way you
disapprovingly.
can speak with him and maybe entertain him a few times, eh?
You see Cole's expression go from like, yeah, whatever, we'll just stay here, to be like,
I tend to agree with the young man. I too am not from this land originally, but it is where I call home now. There does not seem to be an exit.
And how did you get here?
Well, by wagon, of course.
Didn't run across any Vistani, anything. Just showed up one day.
No, they I would not consider them friends.
If that's the case, you can see that red finally starting to curl back. A bit of a white streak go through his hair. He just says, I suppose if you're wanting to leave, then you should probably be looking to get into the good graces of the Vistani, at the minimum, if we won't want to have to deal with Strahd. If that's the case, maybe we should go find this girl.
I don't know that that's gonna help. You saw.
The only other thing I can think of would be to find the woman that made those pastries, because I haven't had a dream since I ate one.
Isn't that just par for the course for you?
Usually, yes, but I still get caught into the visions of wolves and ravens.
Now, the more I hear, the more I think this is gonna go through Strahd. So,
Well, wait. Let's have a seat, someone, and talk about this quick.
Either way,
Carnival Master, appreciate your help.
Yes, again, I wish I could have been better help, but I don't know quite yet, I guess, what it is you need help with. But you know where to find me.
I think we're figuring that out ourselves.
Well, good luck.
So yeah, I think Cole is gonna go try to find a place just to talk to Durango first. And it's all in the bark, growl speech of Infernal here. So, there's only 2 towns. That means this is the only Burgomeister here, that and Barovia. That's it.
That elf said 2 fucking towns? The whole place?
Two fucking towns, the whole place, yeah.
That is quite a tight circle to be walking for the rest of time, no?
How much money can you make in 2 fucking towns?
Even the wonders of the great Durango Fortescue could go stale on such a tight schedule, no?
I mean, the Lords aren't giving up a castle. I want to live in a castle. You want to live in a castle?
A castle sounds very nice, Sir Cold, but one that doesn't overlook such a rainy, grey, dreary place, perhaps, would be more desirable.
And we can't get out of here.
It seems to me our best chance is to earn the good graces of this Strahd. Perhaps we can strike an accord, secure our escape.
Well, and normally, yeah, but I don't know. Hearing the sound of this Strahd and while he operates, I don't think he's much for bargaining.
Well, Sir Cole, I will get us close enough to bargain, and you can negotiate however you see fit when that time comes. And he, kind of gestures to the mace hanging on his person. Casually, like he's just kind of waving his hand dismissively, but to an onlooker. But
So this is really like, if anyone is paying attention, this is the first real time that like they haven't been so sure of what they were doing here. Even in the Infernal speech, you can see the clear like distress on their faces.
Oh, the entire time Tens is in the back and he's like telepathically barking, making barking sounds with his hands on either side to Ash. It's like
Noticing this, Durango kind of nods towards Tens and continues an infernal. Well, it appears that the tide has gone out again with our friend's mind.
What the hell? I think we should go talk to the rest of them, figure out what they want to do. Seems like Aish wants to get out.
With a very, very theatric, performative smile and a big clap of his hands like they just had a really good talk. Continuing an infernal, Durango agrees. Yes, with the... Let's see what the others have to say. Perhaps they have ideas of their own?
And Cole follows the gesture and resumes in common.
he stops the hand motions.
Wonderful, yes. That was a very enlightening conversation, Sir Cole. Thank you for clearing up some of what was said there. I did not understand entirely.
Anytime, mate. You know, your lesson's going well, though. You're picking up the language just right.
I am learning to make the sounds like the rest of you.
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. What did now we're away.
So,
What do you think?
that's a good point, though. What we doing?
Today? Well, what's the goal of this little conglomerate of people?
We need to know what the goal is for tomorrow, the day after that, next day.
Well,
Before we can
tomorrow's to
choose
go
what's
to
going
the
today.
tomorrow's to go to the fucking carnival festival thing.
Well, we got the short term. We got that, but like, what we doing? We obviously can't stay here, right?
No.
We can go stay at the church.
Well, I mean, yeah, you know, and just gestures broadly to.
Speak fucking clearly, friend.
Well, I ain't gotta stay in Barovia, mate.
No, I don't plan on staying here. I'd like to go home at some point. Why the fuck do you think I was eating those fucking pastries?
Those pastries aren't gonna get you home. This pastry's gonna knock your ass out.
It made me have visions of home.
I ain't home, mate. That's pictures of home.
It doesn't matter.
It fucking matters.
It doesn't matter to me.
Well, maybe you just go to Dream Pastry Land and you live there for, you know, for ages, but I'm getting out
Fuck
of
it,
here.
fine. I might. He gets up like he's gonna start to walk away, and he just kind of stands there.
Gentlemen, please, calm yourselves. This is an opportunity in disguise. As I say, it is a wise man who turns a curse to a blessing, no?
Ever the opportunist. Durango Fortescue.
It is a matter of making the best of what you have. And in this case, we need to get out. We know who can make this happen.
Then let's talk about who can make it happen. The only one that apparently can fucking make it happen is that fuck up on a hill inside that castle. So, if he's against us, which apparently he's against everybody here from leaving outside of those fucking assholes in carts with cards, the only ones that are going to be going in about doing anything are the people who actually have power. So my vote here today is the mage and the woman who can actually make dreams fucking happen.
Go ahead, Ash.
I'm inclined to kind of agree with you. The real power is information. We talked to this lady tonight. We talked to the mage. We figure out the history. We figure out the vulnerabilities. Then we can take care of business the way we need to.
So
I'll be real with you. I don't think I'm finding the little girl I was sent here to find. I haven't found her in the 2 towns that she's been in. Nobody on the street. There's no such thing as refugees around here. So, my whole point in being here is a bust. So now, my whole point is to get back. There's something about this place ain't right.
Yeah, at this point, Cole remembers that he has something on him. Actually, I don't know if this is relevant to you or not, but I found this a while back. I think in, was it town of Barovia? I got it confused. The first place we're at. And I take out this little handmade sackcloth doll. And I gave it to him. This mean anything to you?
No, she wouldn't have been. She was old enough to not be traveling with a doll. But it does prove my point. There's plenty of missing kids around here. What's one that doesn't even have a family around? Try to fight for him.
So the wizard then?
Might be our best bet. There's a wizard that tried to rise up against Strahd previously. I don't know if it's the same one. But
well, we're also supposed to be able to find this woman in an abbey, but of course you guys aren't going to fucking believe that one either.
Well. You know, hens.
Cards, yeah, I know. Everybody.
No, wait. Well. Alright, maybe I was a bit harsh. You think there's something to it?
Yeah, I think there's something to a lot of it. I mean, one of them, the second card that was flipped, was about a kid. One of their own that's been used as a sacrifice. In this land, that could be anybody. But it's a Vistani. One of their own.
even in smoke and mirrors, there's got to be a little bit of truth to make the smoke.
There's a little bit of truth in every lie.
Sorry,
All right.
look over at Durango. Hey, what do you think, mate?
I am quite content to indulge Mr. Ten's curiosities during the day, but we must return at night for our performance.
Oh, I ain't forgetting that.
Of course. Everybody likes coin, right?
To fill the belly and put a roof over the head in strange land, a pocket full of gold is not a terrible companion, Mr. Tens.
Well, if you're looking for that, then maybe we should consider going and getting that wine taken care of after the celebration tomorrow, huh?
Y'all are missing the point. We can do both. During the day, we take care of the other things that we want to. At night, we can play, make it seem like we're here for the ride. It's a good cover.
It is. It's a brilliant cover, honestly.
So for now, let's keep on keeping on. Do what we need to do. But now we have a guiding principle for the stories that we decide that we need to go write for ourselves.
I still have to write one for the fucking Burgermeister.
Perhaps we could write a story where we purchase some horses and not have to walk everywhere we go, my friends.
Yeah, that might be on the table. But I say for now, let's do this festival. Let's meet with this dinner. Find out if this lady is really with Strahd. If she is, maybe we find information. If she's not, well, that's still good information. Because, let's be realistic, there's 4 of us, and they had an army that went against Strahd and didn't come back. We're probably going to need help.
He is a fabled prince.
So, let's find our leverage.
Works for me, friend.
So as
How
you
much
all
time?
begin to gather yourselves and and you continue to make your way back through the streets, I guess that is really the question, right? It is still early pre-noon. What are we doing with the day?
How long would it take for us to get to the windmill?
The windmill was maybe is because you camped. That was you on your second day there, so it would take a good chunk of the day to walk there. You'd
Okay,
probably
that's
arrive at it close to nighttime.
And then the wizard is across the lake.
Try and
The
imagine
wizard
the
has been
longest-
spotted across the lake. Yeah.
That's probably the closest. Get there by boat or something like that. Maybe charter a boat or something.
Gotta talk to
Potentially,
the fisherman. I mean, we could always ask around town about the guy first, and then like canvass the town center first or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and make if you guys are fairly close to the town square. You're back at those stockades, the signs being set up. You can see now stages and things being set up for the festival the next day. That blazing sun being those sticks being brought from the burgomeisters and placed underneath cloths so that they don't get too wet overnight. Everything being set up for the festival of the blazing sun. Who is asking around, I guess?
So I'll be using my background feature where I can just make like I can very quickly produce paperwork and whatnot to show that I have official inquiries about things. I'm going to be looking for information on missing children, what the general rumor mill is on that.
Okay.
And rumors on where the mage stays.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
And I'll be with him watching whoever's watching him. Just kind of in the area.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Got a 14 on the investigation.
Okay. So with a 14, you hear a lot of rumors. For the most part, it is, everybody's a little apprehensive to talk to you, particularly with the official looking documents. Everyone's very excited, although you don't believe many of them for the Festival of the Blazing Sun, but they are very apt to tell you that they are incredibly excited for it and can't wait. The mage, apparently, people claim to have seen him on the other side of the lake, but nobody's seen him recently. One person claims that they did see him recently, but you very quickly suss out that it is a lie. But no verified sightings, but people talking about lightning across the lake.
Right, because he kills fish.
As far as the fisherman, he is a drunk. Most people think he's a dullard, kind of an idiot. Nobody has anything particularly pleasant to say. The individual seems to be very sad, lonely, and convinced that he will get fish out of that lake. Many believe the lake to be cursed by the Vistani.
Is there a reason behind that cursing in the rumors?
Nothing you can ascertain. And then lastly, yes, there is the Vistani have been looking for there's a camp just outside of town, and they have been looking for one of their own, a girl that has gone missing. And
the general feel, how many kids are typically getting kidnapped or leaving or going missing?
Vistani children, not very many. It's odd that they've been looking around for one of their own. People go missing in Vallaki all the time. Hunters that get caught outside the gates at night, or people that just wander into the woods and are never seen again.
Okay.
The wolves are a real problem. It really is, and many of them.
I know, but it's just the way you said it.
Mm.
The wolves are a real problem. I mean, yeah.
So Durango's going to hop up on what is present of the stage so far, like whatever superstructure has been built, if there's an actual floorboards, and just going to give his lute like the loudest single strum that he can to like get people's attention, and start calling out to the crowd. Hello, my friend. Yes, it is I, the great Durango Fortescue. Today I come with a chance for you to forge your very own adventure with the great Durango Fortescue, Sir Brave Cole Mavvin. I am in need of a boat, and I am willing to pay for the service. Come, surely one among you has the heart of bravery to join us in this adventure.
There are plenty of boats down by the lake. You can just take one.
Oh, the hospitality of this town is legendary. Thank you, my friend.
Yes,
Help yourself, he says.
You'll not find anything on that lake. There's no fish. But good luck.
Durango bows deeply and hops down from his perch and tries to strut his way back to the group, looking like he's accomplished something. You see, my friends, I have secured us a boat.
Oh, you can do it, Rango.
Tell me, does anyone know how to operate a boat?
Paddle in the water, paddle out of the water, paddle in the water, paddle out of the water.
Regular seaman.
I'm
No,
sure you
special
understand.
seaman.
My hands are not meant to operate such tools. I could not risk my fingers with the edge of the boat and the oars. No, surely no.
I look over to Ash and I'll thank you to me, friend.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna start like sussing out whatever rowboat looks like it'll hold all of us and also is seaworthy enough. Or
And
lake
maybe
worthy
another
enough.
mage.
Okay, so you're heading to the lake.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So you exit the north side of town, heading towards that large misty mountain that serves as a barrier or large gray faceless jailer for the valley of Barovia. At the foot of it, as you exit town and begin to make your way down this winding wooded path, the foot of the mountain, nestled in this mist-filled forest, is this large lake, the water perfectly still. And as you look out upon it, the dark is reflecting off the black clouds above, almost like a monstrous black mirror. Pulled up along the southern shore are 3 small rowboats. A 4th boat can be seen out in the middle of the lake with a lone figure sitting in it with a fishing pole in hand. And as all of you approach the shore and begin looking at the 3 pretty rickety boats that line up, that's where we'll go ahead and take our first break. So Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. Please make sure you're spending your elf eggs wisely. They do go bad and begin to smell if left unattended, so make sure you're spending them. We not only have our January dice giveaway, and Darth was so eager to point out we are doing our December dice giveaway, and we're holding that out until Tuesday. It will be your last chance to win there, and then we'll do our drawing for the December Kalita dice. January, we have not yet announced whose dice they will be, although I already know because I just already know everything. But it will be another member of the 5 best friends from our Tuesday night games. So make sure you're spending those. That's 2,000, and of course your Steam game bribe for the evening, which is Mushroom Hunter, a Nicolas Cage story. That's so sticking to it. I'm writing them a letter. But anyways, give us 10 minutes here. We're gonna refill our drinks, recollect our thoughts, and we'll see you all in just a bit. All right, and welcome back, everyone. So again, as you all find yourselves on the shore of this murky, lifeless, mirror-like lake at the foot of this massive mountain peak, that lone fishing boat, several hundred feet out into the center of the lake, what are you doing?
You'd think they'd have a fucking dock.
Sometimes you don't need it.
Cole is like got his like arms behind his back, kind of doing like a captain's peruse of the boats, and just knowing nothing about boats, just seems to it's like the guy that's kicking tires at the car lot, and just arbitrarily chooses one.
The boat seems sound. Yeah, it looks like it can probably safely hold 5 people.
Yep. Hand an oar over to Ash.
All right.
But before he does anything else, Ash picks up a rock, skips it across the water.
It's too calm. I don't like it.
Well, apparently it was fucking cursed, so makes some sense.
Well, nothing to do but to do it.
Okay. Let's heave-ho.
Okay. So as you release the boat, untie it, everyone kind of crams into it, and you begin to row out into the lake. Is there a specific direction you were looking to go?
Across.
Yeah.
Do I see any indication of burn marks on any trees across the lake, or is it
make a perception check.
Yeah, I'm good at those. Usually.
And
14.
Yeah, unfortunately, between the fog and the mist and everything else, although you can see the tops of the trees, there's nothing that seems to indicate any burning or anything. A lot of the trees are the less coniferous ones are losing their leaves as it seems to be getting colder in this valley. However, with a 14, what you do see, as you all are, make it several feet out to the center of the lake, the figure in the boat picks up what seems to be a burlap sack, rather large, in one very quick motion. He lifts it and tosses it into the lake.
Hey.
Big of a burlap sack.
Child-sized?
Phrasing. Tins will actually get up and almost like start rocking the boat unintentionally as he kind of like leans over towards him and just says, "Hi,
Alright, take it easy.
the fuck."
I know it's in the water. You watch it just immediately begin to sink as he just goes right back to fishing. Doesn't seem to pay any mind to your shouting.
He pulls out his hand crossbow and he starts to knock a bolt into it. He takes aim.
He is just fishing on the boat.
Can I potentially just send it into the side of his boat above the water where it's not going to cause any permanent issue? Just to get his
Go ahead.
attention.
Yeah, fire away. Make an attack roll.
Oh boy, this is gonna go so well.
Meanwhile, Cole and
Oh, hey,
Ash are just trying to like.
18.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
bad.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 18. Yeah, so the bolt slams into the side of the boat. Not in a place where it would cause any damage, but the man doesn't respond. He just sits there with his fishing pole staring into the water.
Do I have to fucking stick it in you? He starts loading another one in.
Sit down. We're on our way.
Fuck you. He's gonna, I guess, fire another one at him, trying to get his attention.
I'm about to knock you off his boat.
I'll just get back in.
So I guess I'm having a hard time understanding what's happening. So let me once again say he has dropped a sack into the water, and you're shooting crossbow bolts at him, trying to yell at him. Ash, you said we're go. Well, Ash, who is rowing and what are we doing?
We're rowing towards him, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cole and Ash are rowing the boat towards the guy that Tens is shooting at right now.
I think
Okay.
what if that
Shooting
Tens
at
would
his
have learned his
boat.
lesson since he started shooting crossbow bolts at just whoever's around.
He's not shooting at whoever's around. He's trying to get his
All right.
attention.
Is there any sort of like what pace would you imagine we're moving at? I guess is my question.
You know, is there a dash equivalent of rowing a boat? I don't know.
That's I guess what I'm trying to understand. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So let's just play pretend. Let's all put ourselves into a fantasy world here.
Oh,
Let's just
okay.
If for some reason something was alive in the sack that was thrown into the water, and I had to determine how long it was going to take for that thing to drown, how quickly are you rowing the boat, and with what level of execution are you attempting to get to this man while you are shooting and just saying, hey, hey.
I think with some expediency, I would think.
Okay.
If he's
Yeah,
going to
Seymour-
continue to ignore me, 30 feet out, I'm gonna fucking teleport over to him.
Okay. So I need, can I get an athletics check from each of you that are rowing the boat?
Solid 14.
Ah, shit. 10.
What?
Okay, so between the two of you, you begin to quickly row the boat. Although Ash is going a little too fast, and you're struggling to keep up, and it's going a little off kilter. You're having to slow down to match your pace, but the boat is moving pretty quickly. Within moments, you are, I guess, within 50, 20, 50, 40, 30 feet. So if that point you're looking to just teleport to the boat.
I mean, is he gonna even acknowledge us?
He is not.
Hollering at him? Yeah, then I'm gonna just show up in his boat.
Okay, great. So you bamf, and suddenly you are on the boat. The whole boat rocks a bit as you appear on it suddenly. You struggle to catch your footing. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check for me.
Good. How about a 13?
13. So you manage to keep your footing barely as the boat shifts. That large drunken man just still staring down at the lake, kind of muttering to himself with the fishing pole in his hand.
I'm gonna take my crossbow that is in my hand and smack him in the head with it. Hey!
Make an attack roll.
So this thing in the
But this-
water, is it like how clear is the water? Is
Is
this
there
thing
like a-
visible?
Yeah, is it? You
At
said
this
it was
point?
sinking. Is it attached to a rope or anything, or is it just?
It is so you got to make a decision there, Tensveta, whether you're hitting this guy or looking in the water.
Oh no, I'm hitting him. I'm pissed off at the guy. So.
Okay, so go ahead and make an attack roll.
Oh, good. Natural 1.
Natural 1. So yeah, so you go to hit him, but the boat shifts again as it's still kind of moving around, and you completely slip and just kind of tumble over him into the water.
Well.
Have we pulled up on the thing yet?
As for the rest of you, yes. In that moment, you manage to pull the boat up. It bangs with a thud against the side of the other boat.
Armor's coming off, shield's coming off, mace is coming off. I'm diving in.
Okay, so you take all of your armor off.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so while you're undressing, very quickly,
I'm gonna sink if I don't do that.
So Durango starts wailing on his lute, and a spectral version of his own 6-fingered hand appears, like dark blue skin, the same goldenrod nails, and it dives into the water, trying to retrieve whatever Buddy threw in.
So is this mage hand?
Mage hand, yeah.
So mage hand can lift what, 10 pounds?
£10, yeah.
Yeah. So and I think you need to be able to see it, right?
I guess you'd have to be something you could see. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say it specifically in this one. that I'm
Actually,
reading on the
it
page,
just
but,
says
I mean,
it just says it appears at a point and you choose within range.
Okay.
No matter whether or not
So-
you know.
Sure. So you are. We'll say that you are trying to make it go after whatever was thrown into the water, and the hand appears and dives beneath the water's surface. Do that whatever mental bond that you share that allows you to communicate with the hand and at least give it some instruction. You can tell that whatever it is trying to stop, although with the water it is grabbed on and is pulling it back upwards. Tens in the water below you now. You can see this shape rising as this spectral hand pulls it up. Only because of the lack of resistance in the water is it able to actually even pull it up. Although, getting it out of the water is still not going to be possible for the hand.
He looks up at the guy, looks in his face, says, "Do it in a second!" And he dives down into the water to go get the thing.
Excuse me? Could you repeat that?
One more time, I didn't catch it.
Make an athletics check.
Oh boy, yes, the things I'm great at. 15.
15, yeah. So as you dive down into the water, you manage to grab the sack. It is wiggling in your hands still as you grab it, and you manage to pull the top of it up out of the water, kicking and using all of your strength. You bring it back over to the boat as
His
you
or ours?
hoist it, whichever one you're trying to bring it to.
Well, I wouldn't take it back to the guy who threw it back in.
Yeah,
Fuck
so
that
the
guy.
two are right next to each other. So you bring it to your boat and you manage to, with all your might, hoist it up and out of the boat.
He like tosses it over and he starts swimming back over angrily to the other guy's boat, gets up into it, smacks his face.
If the Saxacle is gonna stop taking his armor off and start tending to the bag.
Ash will help.
So as you unbind the bag and open it, there is a young girl, maybe 6 to 8 years old, bound with that same dark hair and the dark black eyes that the Vistani seem to have. She is tied in hempen rope and her mouth is very. She chokes as you begin to pull the bindings off of her mouth and throw water. Just begins to spit up as you begin to unbind her.
Hands.
I smack him again. Just start smacking him in his head. I'm not trying to hurt him. I'm just like trying to get his attention. Fucking pay attention to me. Piece of shit.
This is a strange fish we have caught.
So she's breathing. She's like coughing up water, but she's like alive. She's breathing. She's alive.
She is alive. Yep.
If he doesn't respond, I'm just gonna pop detect thoughts and really focus in on him.
He really doesn't. He defends himself a little bit from the smacks, but he barely even looks up, and just still is just staring at the lake, staring at the end of the fishing pole. Your detect thoughts.
I get surface thoughts, and then I'll dig a little bit deeper if they don't give me shit.
Yeah. I mean, the surface thoughts are really all you need.
Okay.
Because over and over again, the man just keeps repeating, I just sacrifice her to the lake. If I just give her to the lake, and then I'll get my reward. And it's just like over and over again. It's just this helpless plea for something to happen.
He stops smacking her and just looks gobsmacked for a second. He looks over at the others. This guy's useless. But that one, that's the one that's the one that they were looking for. That's the card. That's the card. And he's gonna start like making his way back over to him.
Yeah, Cole, make sure the girl isn't, is taking care of him. Tries to, he'll take what's left of his coat anyway, and kind of put it over her to keep her warm. And just kind of glancing back at Durango with
And Durango snaps his fingers a couple times to, dry out her clothing and hair and, warm her up.
The young lady looks at all of you and wraps the coat around herself and sits up straight. Well, that was convenient timing. Thank you so much for the rescue.
I'm gonna move my detect thoughts over to her while I have it up.
The surface level thoughts are mostly just trying to figure out all of you, if she's even still safe. There's thoughts of, you see flashes of the Vistani camp on the edge of town, another dark-haired man, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
How did you end up here? Where did he take you?
That lout over there seemed to believe that I could lift the curse that my people placed on this lake, and he promptly, after days of trying that, and me telling him, of course, I could not do such a thing, he decided to sacrifice me to the lake, I guess, to lift the curse.
So your people put a curse on the lake?
I am not aware of any curse that we have put on the lake. Or if that is even a possible thing, but you never know.
You're pretty chipper for somebody who almost just drowned.
Well, it is, I am pretty chipper for someone who was just saved from drowning, perhaps.
I guess that's a perspective.
Insight check. This is weird.
What are you insight checking?
Like, I don't even know how to explain her general attitude, like her,
It's like tense.
she's like 8 years old. She almost just died. She couldn't breathe for a few minutes, and it's I don't know, that she just seems. Is she?
Why is she calm? All right.
I don't even know how to ascertain what I'm looking at. Like, man, my gut's saying like she's possessed or something. Like, is there anything that's causing her to have this sort of chipper attitude?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
That's a 20.
20. It's difficult still to tell why, because you're not really asking a question, right? You're just trying to I guess, ascertain the nature of this young girl. And she looks at you, and on the exterior looks very much just like a normal, although wet, 7 or 8 year old Vistani girl. But her eyes have this confident wisdom that just beguiles her age. Perhaps from my grandmother, I received, sometimes I see things that happen before they happen. So I knew that you would be here to save me. And it's just as I know that my father would be more than happy to reward you once I am returned. Does that answer your question? I know it is, doesn't bode well with we did not curse the lake, but I promise you, as far as I know, we did not curse the lake.
I mean, it's a good explanation as any, I suppose. I ain't got no experience in that realm.
She looks you up and down and says,
broadly gesture to like Bluto, buddy in the boat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the obvious question. And this man, what do we do with him, in your opinion?
I see.
In my opinion.
The fucking water.
Who are you asking?
Yes,
Sorry.
you.
Oh, me? I'll leave him to his destitution. He's harmless.
The man kidnapped you, tied you up, threw you in the lake to drown.
Mm-hmm.
And he's harmless.
Well,
let me rephrase. How did this man get past your entire camp to kidnap you?
well, that was my fault. I was down at the lake picking flowers. I don't know at what point he decided that I could relieve the curse, but he has held me here and forced me to every day attempt to lift it while he catches fish. And I guess today he had had enough, or had a new idea. I don't know, but he is a shell, a hollow of a man. There's no point. You'll be doing him a favor by putting him out of his misery.
So yeah. Hey, one of you stronger fellas want to try and shove him in the water? Sacrifice him to the lake.
Or we could just bring him back to the camp for justice instead of just cold-blooded murdering the man.
He just tried to cold murder somebody else.
Right. Like bigger people stuff. Do they not have
Yes.
parental guidance in the Fae?
Yeah, sort of. It's complicated.
I honestly think I'm with tens on this one.
But Sir Cole, if we bring him to face justice, let him face the eyes of those he has wronged, perhaps.
No, Cole,
He
they're right.
continues in Infernal. We bring him to them, they might give us more gold, no?
Yep. Yeah, that's right. All right. And I'm gonna go into my pack, and I got a set of manacles. And I'm gonna pry his hands off the fishing pole and manacle his arms behind his back.
He just continues to stare at the lake and doesn't even offer any real resistance.
All right. Shall we?
That doesn't affect that. I was gonna see if Lesser Restoration, and I was gonna try to cast it on him, but that wouldn't affect what I wanted to.
No, but your lay on hands could remove alcohol poisoning potentially if the DM allows that one.
Well, a Lesser Restoration would too. Poison effect.
True.
Yeah, just manacles and Tens. I might need you to row this thing back.
We can try.
My friend, perhaps you allow myself to take the oar? And Durango starts playing his lute again and summons the hand. Keep an eye on our new friend.
All right. Let's get plan
So all of you
streets.
managed to row yourselves back to shore. One a spectral hand, the other with a Tensveta and a spectral hand rowing one. Ash rowing the other by himself. With the young lady. You bump against the shore. The boat rocks and hits that sandy reef right at the bottom, and you hop out. You sink a bit into the mud, and again begin to pull Bluto out with you, pushing him down in the water as it splashes, and he's still just kind of muttering to himself.
What's he muttering? Is he just muttering the same thing that I heard before?
Yeah, basically. I don't understand why it didn't work. Why? You should be fishing this lake. Why?
Shut up and keep moving. He kicks him in the back to get him to keep moving.
Before we step off from the lake, can I just kneel down next to it, place my hand in it, see if I get any magic vibes from it? Like if there might be a curse or anything on it?
Make an Arcana check.
14.
14, yeah. Now you place your hand on the water, and the water's cold. But no magic vibes. And suddenly, something grabs your hand. No, there's nothing. Yeah, it's a bit of seaweed.
Try my hand off.
All right. Just another crackpot.
So, along the way, as they start walking, he's going to start asking this girl a question. First off, what's your name? Didn't catch it.
My name is Arabelle.
Arabelle?
Yes.
Nice to meet
Pleasure
you.
to meet you.
I'm Tensveta.
Tensveta.
Are you aware of Madame Eva? Eva?
Yes, of course. This is my grandmother.
Oh, that explains a lot for me then. And you can see the red is starting to fade away into a bit of a green. And he just says, she told us that one of their own would be going bound and wet as a sacrifice, as a desperate plea to a cold and unfeeling oblivion. He points to the other guy and just goes, so apparently we were supposed to find you because supposedly you hold some kind of key? You are the key to something?
Well, she looks down at herself, and she's wearing a very plain, sort of brown wool dress with splashes of color and patches and things like that. Well, if I have some sort of key on me, I am not aware of it.
Oh, I think you might be one.
Well, I'm certain my father will reward you all appropriately for delivering me back to the camp.
Fair enough.
What side of town was the camp on?
It is on the southern side, so if you just walk through the town and out the southern gate.
And as we were parading this fisherman through the walking through the streets, Cole's at least gonna try to do him the decency of like covering up his face so they don't, doesn't become a spectacle.
Yeah, again, he doesn't seem to even notice or care.
As they're walking through the streets, Durango is actively creating a spectacle with his lute, with an improvised song about their greatly exaggerated exploits in rescuing this girl. Very self-congratulatory.
Okay. So you begin to walk through the town before getting back to and again doing your best to be obscure but also not, I guess.
Well, I just didn't want his face revealed. I'm fine with
and
the
Durango
pageantry.
tends to draw his own crowd, and people are of course thinking he is a part of the festival, trying to actively be impressed and enjoy the festivities ahead of time. And so everybody is at least paying attention to Durango, and for the most part everybody is ignoring all of you walking through the town at this point. You guys have been here for a few days and people are a little more used to seeing you. As you make your way through the streets towards that southern gate where the encampment is, she continues to lead you a little ways outside of the gate, and it takes a couple hours, and you're walking through out the gate and through a wooded path. The woods all around are dark and looming, and the mist seems to always be thick and heavy just a couple 100 feet into the woods. It makes it very difficult to see anything beyond, but she walks with confidence through them in these winding trails. A couple hours later, you find yourself as the woods part. They reveal an expansive clearing, a small grass-covered hill with low houses built into its sides. Now, the fog obscures a lot of the details, but you can see that the buildings are elegantly carved woodwork and have these decorative lanterns hanging from sculpted eaves. And atop the hill above the fog is a ring of barrel-topped wagons that surround a large tent with a column of smoke pouring out through a hole in the top. The tent, even in the dim, sort of gray, overcast light that is available, is brightly lit from within, and smells of wine and horses. The thing that you notice fairly quickly, Tensveta and Ash, is standing in front of one of the houses is a well-armed, or two well-armed elves. As you approach the camp, a couple of the Vistani begin to shout, and a man rushes towards Arabelle, and very quickly, in not so much of a fatherly manner, they don't embrace, but he kneels down and grabs her by the shoulders and smiles, and they exchange a few words, and she points at the rest of you, and he looks up and says, "Well, it would appear I owe you many thanks for saving my daughter."
By this point, Tins is in complete and total spring. And he's just like, oh, it was easy.
My friend is far too humble. It was no small task overcoming the challenges we faced to rescue your sweet daughter. I am. Perhaps you have not heard the great Durango Fortescue. This is the great Sir Cole Mavvin, brave knight.
It is a pleasure to meet all of you. Again, I cannot thank you enough for what you have done here. We have been searching for days now for my daughter, and she is. We are happy to see her home safe.
With this, I'm gonna push forward the fisherman and go, here's your culprit here. Just trying to sacrifice her to the lake. Thought I was gonna bring fish or something.
I'm afraid we are not one for dealing out justice. It is a shame that these people seem to think that we are capable of such things, but I don't know what we have to do with this man.
Well, if I were you, I'd just conscript him, put him to work. This is more what I anticipated from a carnival anyway. So perhaps you could have him driving stakes.
Well, we are not a carnival.
Well, I'm aware, but I'm just saying the carnival in town is not so carnivalesque as I anticipated. I expected the big top.
Understood. Well, I will see, and you can see several of the a couple of the other Vistani take Luvash and begin walking him up the hill towards the tent. I guess we will figure out what to do with him. In the meantime, please come. Sit with me at my wagon. And he brings you up to a wagon. The wagon itself has these bright golden sun hubcaps. As he says, of course, please sit. Eat with us. Have you or drink or something? Of course, make yourselves at home. You are our guests here.
Cole's like, I couldn't possibly. While he's grabbing food and drinking cups and.
You can see several of the Vistani now gathering around, and they are smiling at you and filling up glasses and pouring wine, and many of them welcoming Arabelle back. And she, again, is just still has that same sort of way too like chipper demeanor, and but you notice she's being treated respectfully and like an adult. She's not. Nobody seems to be doting on her like a child, and everybody. But it's all an odd scene, but everyone seems to be very happy and welcoming in that moment. So my daughter has instructed me to provide you with something. So please give me just a moment.
Ashley's gonna watch wherever he takes off to.
You can see he goes into his wagon. It is a barrel-topped wagon, slightly nicer than the other ones. Drapes of golden silk seem to hang in the windows, and an iron chimney pipe protrudes from the roof. Right? As he opens the door and disappears inside for a moment.
God, I can't believe I'm about to do this already. Cole hears a voice and hears Tin's voice in the back of his head just say, a man, not what he seems, forged of vengeance and sunlight. Lots of sun imagery here.
You just see Cole's, like, the corner of Cole's lip twitch, and that's it. You don't hear any sort of response.
Well, he can't get a response anyway.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
A few moments later, he appears again, and he turns to you, Cole. He says, "Here, it is not much, but it is all we have truly to give." And he hands you an amulet. It is a pretty simple chain. But on the end, it appears to be similar to a, something you would have received in the priesthood. A symbol, some sort of holy artifact type of deal. Depicting like a sun, like all around it is that sort of like it's shaped like tooth, and on the edges like a shape of a blazing sun. The inside sits this bright red gem, and on the outskirts of around it you see there's just iconography of ravens in mid-flight.
Cole attempts not to appear as if he is salivating. Oh, it's beautiful. Never seen anything like it. And yeah, while it's in my hand, I'm just gonna use detect magic on it. Move my hand across.
It glows bright.
Uh-oh. Cole like winces away. What is this?
We have many legends have been told about such artifacts, although it appears to predate any church I've seen, although it appears to be some sort of holy artifact. At least in Barovia. But according to the legend, it was delivered to a paladin long ago, named Lugdana, by a giant raven, or maybe an angel in the form of a giant raven. I don't know. Who's to say? Mm-hmm. But this paladin used the symbol to root out and destroy nests of dark, evil creatures in the night, vampires, until she finally passed. It was held by the high priest of Ravenloft itself inside the castle, and kept, worn as a holy symbol after her passing. At some point, it passed down to my grandmother and to my wife and her mother, and it has been in our family for generations. But I see it only appropriate that it be given to you now.
Cole fishes out a cloth from his pouch and wraps it and sets it in. Oh yeah, I thank you kindly, and it gives a fairly deep bow. I'm sure I can find a use for it. I'm curious. What? You're Vistani. What's your take on Lord Strahd then?
On Lord Strahd?
Yeah.
He's a great man. His family has been a friend to the Vistani for generations.
So, you're aware of what they say he is, right?
There are people that call him a devil, but there are people that believe, apparently, that we curse lakes and can be sacrificed to them to produce fish. These town folks, they will say whatever they must.
Can I do an insight check on him to see if he's specifically on the Strahd stuff, if he's walking the company line, or is he truly believe what he's saying?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
$19.
So you can see that he does truly believe what he's saying, although there is an air of fear-based loyalty, right? There's, so it's this where while he's telling the truth, there's enough to be left out but he seems that the eyes dart a little too much when speaking of Strahd, or there's a bit of a tremor that just a slight that maybe not even most people would pick up, that just slightly alters the perception there.
Does Lord Strahd know you had that necklace?
Lord Strahd knows all things of Barovia. There is nothing that happens in his kingdom that he is not aware of. This is his domain.
Well, if he's such a benevolent lord, knows everything, why didn't he bring your girl back to you?
This is a greater question, I guess. It is, what is one young girl, of course, matter to the lord of this land? Is this how things are done where you are from? Do kings come down from castles to rescue girls that go missing?
Seems to me like they would if they knew that it was going to happen.
Well, knowing that something is going to happen and knowing that something has happened are two very different things. I think your perception is a little skewed. Again, Strahd is aware of all things that are happening, but not. Of course, what does it matter to the Lord Strahd, the devil? Right?
Hey, I don't know the guy. I don't harbor any strong opinions about him. Just thought I'd ask the question.
Of course, we have heard the tales that are told. That he is royalty, that he is died centuries ago, yet endures. Feasting off the blood of the living, right? But for most of us, he is just a benefactor. We do not... It's not as if we are invited to the castle. Whatever happened a long time ago, where our people became favored of Strahd, happened a long time ago.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for the food.
Of course, we cannot thank you enough for. You will always have a home here with the Vistani for what you have done for us.
We'll keep that in mind. Appreciate it.
Before we go, not that I'm saying that we're leaving now, but girl, sorry, the name slips my mind.
Miss Arabelle.
Arabelle, right.
Tensveta. What? How can I help you?
You said you're a seer. Are you a seer like your grandmother is?
Well, not yet. But it is believed that all Vistani have a bit of foresight. Although typically we cannot see our own futures, we can only see the futures of others. So what I saw was this for Mr. Bluto, and of course, you four.
Interesting. So how do you go? So are you just saying that as in like a general seer kind of thing? Or are you just saying that as in like your training to be a seer?
Well, yes, it is. It apparently gets stronger as I get older, is what I am told. But you know,
So what kind of implements do you use?
with the implements,
For instance, your grandmother used a tarot deck.
the Taroka. This is a typical means to divine that's future. It is easier to focus on the cards instead of trying to see and interpret visions.
So what is your preferred method of seeing?
The
such
Taroka
visions?
is typically what we are taught.
Okay. It's worth asking. All right, then. Maybe when you get a little older, I'd love to have my my future told by you. Erica.
I will practice.
Practice well.
Mm. So as all of you gather yourselves and you're at the top of this hill in this Vistani camp, what is the... It's a little afternoon at this point.
Is there anything you guys want to do before we go speak with this Vector? Also, I told you so.
Yeah, whatever.
Perhaps you could be onto something with these cards you have been obsessing over.
So you said the elves were guarding the houses are on this hill.
Yeah, they were elves, yeah.
What can you said? You said they were well armored. I'm gonna just kind of focus on them and see what I can ascertain, like about them specifically. I mean, what kind of weapons are they carrying?
Yeah, if we see
Their armor.
guards, are they matching like guards' armor from town, or is it different?
Make a perception check.
Nat 20 for 25.
And a nat
And-
1 for a 7.
The duality of
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, Ash, they have these tall spears, and you can see short swords at their sides. The armor seems an older style, a little more ceremonial than practical, but not uncomfortable to them. They don't match the guards that are outside. They seem very honestly, they stand out quite a bit from the anyone else you've run into. Is it's primarily been human population.
I'm gonna,
The two of the guards that stand at one of the buildings just seem to lean casually, speaking to one another, kind of side-eyeing you.
I'm gonna play down a Vistani or whoever's nearby that we were talking to. So, those are an interesting crew.
You mean the elves?
Yeah. Other than
Yes.
the loud one over here, I haven't seen too many of those around.
Yes, this is a sad tale. All that are left, this is it. There are no other of their kind here in Barovia, and I'm afraid this is the last of them. I guess.
You managed to snag them to guard your camp?
Oh no, of course not. They just they too, like us, are outsiders. So we have that in common, I guess. It is just a friendship of convenience.
Not so favored by Strahd on their end, I'm guessing.
This is probably a better conversation to have with them. I do not wish to tell their tale, but If you'd like, I can introduce you to Casimir.
Yeah, why not? I like stories.
Look over at Tens as I say it.
Yes, of course. And the Luvash brings you to the, one of the houses that is built into the side of that hill. The two guards immediately start to look, and they see Luvash and pull the spears away as you step into a very small home. It is maybe 10 feet by 30 feet. This house sort of built into the hill itself. Modest in its furnishing, a small stone fireplace that feeds up into the earth behind it. A wooden table, and sitting in the corner is another elf. This one not armored, but dressed in relatively fine clothing, with a deep hood that is pulled back as he sits back and is reading some book with the arcane writing on it in Elvish.
Did these elves? Did Rictavio have a similar lean and lineage as these elves?
You can tell by the. It's difficult to tell because Rictavio is clearly half elven.
Ah, okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
What's the book that he's reading? I speak Elvish.
Yeah, same.
It seems to be arcane in nature, wizarding practices like spell type stuff. Yeah.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was it across the lake?
As you enter, he looks up from the book and he sees Luvash and he smiles and he sees the rest of you, and then that smile quickly fades. Well, Luvash, is everything okay? Yes, Casimir. These strangers, they found Arabelle. They rescued her and brought her back to us. I just thought you would like to maybe meet them. They were interested in your people and how you got here. But I just thought I'd introduce them. This is Tensveta. And he, you can see immediately he looks at you, and his eyes widen a little bit. And he goes, Cole Mavvin. Then I did not get your name, sir. And he points to you, Durango.
Yes. I am the great Durango Fortescue. I am sure my name precedes me. No.
Yeah, of course. So this is the great Durango Fortescue, of course, and the sour-looking, ashen-skinned fellow.
Just Ash.
Ash. Fitting. So these are our friends. Friends, this is Casimir Velikov, leader of the Dusk Elves of Barovia.
Excuse me, the Dusk Elves?
Yes, that is what we are known as.
And what would you rather be known as?
Dusk Elves will be fine.
I didn't know if it was like a derogatory thing or not.
It is not. It is. This is what we've come to call ourselves throughout the generations. But welcome to our home. You've taken an interest in our people. Might I ask, what brings you to Falaki?
What did bring us to... Oh, we were delivering someone to the church. That's what brought us here, to Vallaki. But we've been here for, 2 days, I think?
I think, yeah, this is day 2 or 3. I can't remember.
The clouds make it really hard to keep track of time.
Yes, quite. The father there, what is his name?
shit, what is this?
Yeah, it's gonna be like,
Lucian, was it? Lucian, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. He's
Sure.
a nice man. We don't venture into town often, but he's brought us things before and assisted us with healings and such. He is kind for your people. Well,
I just want to know everything. Like, how far back do your generations go? How long have you been in this lands? What connections do you have to the royalty of the land, the nobility of the land, the various different rumors that you've heard, all sorts of things that you like. The mage. Do you have a connection to the mage across the lake? Are you the mage across the lake? Do you do the lightning thing with the fish?
Ten's better.
Sorry.
Ten's better.
Sorry. My bad. Sorry.
that is a lot.
This is why we came, because we have this version of your kind of people. We're trying to see you guys look a little more, down here than he is.
Yes, quite. You're Faye, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Well, to answer one of many of your questions, my people have been here for countless generations now. We wandered into this valley much like you did, I guess, like anyone does, looking for a place to call home. And unfortunately, we've reached the end of that, I'm afraid.
Why are you afraid about it?
What happened?
This is a long story, and one that I am remiss to tell, and it is a sad one. Many years ago, we assisted in an uprising against the lord of this land. And as payment for our crimes against Lord Strahd, we have since lost all of the female members of our lineage and are no longer able to carry on our legacy here. I'm afraid that what you see is all that remains of the Dusk Elves of Barovia.
So, Strahd killed off all your ladies?
Correct. Including my sister, Patrina.
I see.
That's sorry to hear that. Well, how do you even say that? Wiped out a whole people.
Yes, it is a cruel fate, but it was one that we brought upon ourselves for our... Well...
Insurrection?
Insurrection is a good word for it, yes. You can see that he stares down, and there's a statue, a wooden deity, one that you're familiar with.
Who's the deity?
It's an older elven deity, like a figure. It's
Cora.
Yes.
Name's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get it either.
Go ahead.
No, it's if it's I was just gonna ask about the wizard thing.
The wizard. Yes. I have heard rumors of this gentleman, although I've never met him in person, but another unfortunate side effect of those that would stand before Strahd. There were tales of him rallying forces in towns and attempting himself to go and overthrow Lord Strahd, and then being stricken by some sort of madness, wandering the countryside.
Did you ever catch his name?
I did not, unfortunately, nor did anyone else that I'm aware of. The people have just come to call him the Mad Mage of Mount Baratok.
That's quite the title.
Hmm.
And I don't mean to, try to bring up too many, but it seems strange that a bunch of powerful beings like yourself, backed by an army of people, went up against one man, even if he had an army, and suffered this kind of fate. I guess how?
Well, it is not just one man. Yes, it is. Strahd is this land. He commands it. The creatures obey him. There are all kinds of evils that lurk in this forest, all at his beck and whim.
And you guys didn't know that going into it?
I mean, of course we knew it, but it was... pride, I guess. We underestimated.
Is our Vistani friend still with us in the room?
He is. Yeah.
Okay. Tins will then telepathically reach out to Mr. Dusk Elf here, and just like in the back of his mind, be like, "Don't panic. It is just Tins speaking. Since you've got nothing else to lose, would you be willing to help us gather information here in these lands as to what we could do to continue to perhaps do a more thorough insurrection? Not to say that you weren't thorough, but different perspectives matter.
Well, Luvosh, thank you. And I know you've heard this tale many times, but if you don't mind, I will entertain our friends for a bit. Of course, I'll make sure they come and see you again before they leave. Yes, of course. I'm sorry I did not. Just there was no good time for me to leave. But yes, thank you all so much. And of course, make yourselves at home in our camp when you are finished. Okay.
Of course. Have a good night.
Yeah. And as Luvosh exits and the door closes, Casimir eyes all of you.
I apologize. I didn't mean anything offensive by it, if that's how it came across. In fact, if you would be more comfortable...
It is fine. The problem is this. I have no desire to take part in this. We have suffered at the hands of our own pride, thinking we could destroy this man. But I will tell you, I am plagued with visions sent to me during my resting periods. My sister, she calls out to me. And I think I may. And he taps the book. I may have discovered a way that we can free this land from this curse. The question is, how far are you willing to go? And that's where we'll pick up next week. So thank you everyone for joining us for Curse of Strahd. As always, please make sure you use our elf eggs. Big shout out to our sponsors, Foundry, Forge, Tabletop Audio. Thank you so much for helping us make this game possible. And of course, all you guys for sticking in there and hanging out with us post-holiday season. Of course, again, we are extending our dice giveaway for December up until Tuesday. So if you're really got a hankering for those Kalita flavored dice, make sure that you join us for tomorrow's Sinner's Dream game, where you have even more opportunity to earn and win. And the Tuesday night finale of this season of the 5 Best Friends, 2 years in the running. And then we're gonna shut it down and take a quick break. And we've got some big plans there. So really cool. I'm really excited to see how that wraps itself up on Tuesday. After the epic defeat of the midway BBEG, if you will. But really fun stuff going on there. And of course, we got a ton of other shows on the horizon. Lots of cool stuff. 2022 is going to be pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be so much work, but it's going to be we get some cool ideas.
Yeah, the holidays in particular have been really tough. Ryan, I know you and Nikki have just fought through COVID. I know we've got another guy out with COVID right now that's going to be missing from tomorrow night's game. It's been brutal there. I have new responsibilities from a new promotion at work, plus the puppy that we just picked up for Christmas. So it's just like a million things. So I apologize to everybody. I've been quiet in the Discord and everywhere else, but it was my New Year's resolution was to get back in full swing on the social needs and
social needs
on the social medias.
Needs?
Yeah. I like mead. Ben makes mead.
He does.
Some
it
of
looks
it's even
crazy.
drinkable.
All right, well, hopefully I bought you guys enough time to use your 300 for Mushroom Hunter. Do we have what do we have for entries there, Ryan? We good to give that one away?
I mean, we're going to 2 entries, guys. Come on now.
Come
We're a
on,
cat
man.
that collects mushrooms. What more do you want from us?
And you dodge.
New follower and stream raider Fumble Folks. You have won yourself whatever that game is. You're a cat that hunts mushrooms.
Look out for
I'll
that
fire that
incoming
over to you right now.
viewer
Fantastic.
reviews.
All right, why don't we go to Durango Fortescue? Oh no, actually not Durango. I don't remember who did it the last time.
I did, I think.
You did, Chuck? All right, you know what, Ryan? Since you're feeling better, why don't you go ahead and figure out who we're raiding tonight?
All right. So that's 8 on the die. So that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I was just about to raid you guys. Robbie Landis just raided the stream. you were just about to get. Oh man.
It does happen all the time.
It seems to happen quite a bit, yeah. Thanks, though.
Well,
it's serendipity because all we do so I don't know how you guys do it, Robbie. We literally roll a dice, a d20 to see who we're gonna raid. We end up always raiding people that have either just raided us or are about to raid us. So it's this weird back and forth. But anyways,
I guess we'll go to the next one on the list then. That's gonna be the Crown DM, but I think it's some map creation. I think we might want a game here. So we'll go to Come Play, My Lord, Episode 1, Value Select TV.
I like it already because it's very polite and they called me Lord. You know.
Yeah.
So
I like the
I
off-brand
dig it.
sound they got going there.
Yeah.
Value select. That sounds like.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm like, dang, you select, huh?
Very family friendly sounding. I like it.
Yeah.
Bring your kids along.
Unlike us.
Yikes. Well, all right, guys. Well, let's be loud. Let's go make some noise. Thank you for the folks that rated us. Hopefully, if you got some time and you guys aren't streaming, Robbie and your crew aren't streaming tomorrow, come check out Sinner's Dream. That's a really fun noir detective themed D&D 5e where Chuck DMs and I'm a player. Wave hi, Chuck.
Hey.
That wasn't a wave.
Hey.
Useless. But in the meantime, let's go raid somebody else. And, we get to do the whole raid thing all again, and we'll use emojis and We get to do it all over again. It was a good practice round. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.